Hey guys, and welcome to The Drunks Effect. Chris?
I'm Brandman.
Finally, we get to talk about a good Dragon Ball movie. Not that the last two have been bad, but man, I am curious because I have not talked to you about this because I wanted this to be fresh because I wanted to see what you actually thought about this movie. So we are finally to Dragon Ball Super Broly. So we are in real modern times. So this is the last thing that has come out. The anime was over, and this came out. So we are at finally the precipice of where we are at currently until the 19th of August, 2022, when we'll get Superhero. So that'll kind of take us forward a little bit, but to the side. I mean, this doesn't really... I don't know that movie really pushes the anime that forward. I mean, we get... Obviously, they do stuff with Gohan and Piccolo, but it doesn't push the narrative of like where I think the anime is going to go. Whereas this, obviously... pushes the anime forward, and then I think we'll get the anime next year, and then the next movie obviously will be kind of pushing that forward. But at least we got Piccolo and Gohan up to where we're at. And so I think they'll utilize them more in the anime, especially in like, well, weirdly, I don't know what they're going to do because they push them there, but in the manga, they are not there. Yeah. So I don't know what the fuck they're going to do because like if they fought Moro, but then Gohan is like in this form, it's strange. So they're in a weird place. Yeah. That's Toriyama. He's like, fuck you. I'm going to do this anyway. I don't give a shit if it fucks up your anime. Even though I wrote that, like, I don't give a shit. So this, like Resurrection F and Battle Gods Before, I did get to see this in theaters. So it was a very cool experience to see this movie. I know a lot of what we've talked about in the last two movies is the way that they look. Mm-hmm. This movie looks incredible. Yes. It might be one of the best anime things ever because it's hand drawn, it's 2D animated mixed with some 3D and some CG, but it works. I mean, you notice when it's there, but it's not distracting. It's never like, oh, this again. But God, this movie is gorgeous. I love, and the same guy that did this is the same guy that did like the 2 episodes when Goku was Ultra Instinct and all of that. You can see the similarities. You're like, okay, that shit looked awesome, and this stuff looks cool. So basically kind of synopsis of the movie. We're bringing back Broly, making him canon. Toriyama redesigned him. He does look a lot better. Yes. He's not just fucking ginormous. No. I mean, he's still a big motherfucker, but he's not like 8 feet taller than Goku. Yeah. He's like 3 or 4 inches taller than Goku, but not much. I mean, he's not big. He's more realistic in this. Like, he's a human being. Yeah. Because the other thing, you're like, okay, yeah, Broly has to walk through doors. Like, what the fuck? Like, that other Broly, that's why he was so skinny. But, like, even big Broly can still walk through a fucking door now. So, like, you know, at some point, this dude's got to... He lives in a damn cave. Yes. His ass is big. But, man, they do a lot with him, like, you know, delving into his character arc, which I really like. They make him sympathetic, but he's also just a good character. Yeah. He's one of the few people in Dragon Ball that actually has a damn arc. Like, they're like, we like over-explained Broly a little bit. Because even, like, I mean, you know, next to Goku and Vegeta, there is really no one that has an arc like him. I mean, but we've been with Goku since he was a little baby. Right. So, of course, he has that. And Vegeta, we've gotten flashbacks to all of that. And even, I mean, you get it in this. Yeah. I mean, you get Bardock in this, which is great. Yes. I mean, so Bardock is canon now. We only had Minus before. I mean, not that Bardock himself wasn't canon, but the story of Minus was just kind of there. That's fully been brought into the fold. They've tweaked some of that. Man, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. So let's just start at the beginning. So what do you think? I mean, visually, we can talk about the visuals because I think it does look good. So what do you think? Do you like the music? Do you like visually? Because I feel like this is the first movie that you can talk about those two things. Because they're not dog shit, like.
And so the music, music's on point almost the entire way through. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's just like the brief moments when it's Goku, Broly, Goku, Broly. So and I think if they would have tweaked the music just a little bit, that would have pushed it into another level. Yeah. But visually, it's right there with that some of the later episodes of it, the Demon Slayer, which they when you see you will be like, oh my god, this is amazing.
I am excited to watch that show. But yeah, so I mean, basically your premise is, I mean, you're explaining Broly. So like I said, I have a lot of thoughts on this movie. I've seen this movie probably 30 times. So we're gonna do this one a little bit differently. I kind of just want to hear what your thoughts are, because I know I usually give my thoughts, but I am curious because we have not talked about this movie at all. Typically, we kind of talk beforehand about things we like, don't like. We haven't at all about this movie. So I just kind of want you to give me your overall impressions, and I'm kind of cut in with things that I think, because I have so much. This movie, like I said, lives rent-free in my brain, so I can picture the whole movie. So I have very specific things I want to talk about more than like plot pointing the whole movie like we usually do.
All right.
Hey, your phone didn't understand it. It can't understand, Broly.
Shut up.
Google's just like, man, I need to get in on this fucking Broly action.
I think it was the stupid
Bixby. Yeah, yes. Bixby. She just wants to be in the conversation, man.
No one wants you, Bixby.
Yeah, no one wants Bixby.
So, well, basically, starting off where we see Frieza taking over the Empire from King Cold, and I'm not sure if King Vegeta was planning an insurrection at the time, or if he was just being prepared. But when he saw Frieza, he was terrified.
Yeah, it is good. I mean, like I said, we've always talked about tension and like stakes in Dragon Ball. This movie has a lot of fucking stakes.
Yes.
Because the people that are actually there are fucking terrifying.
Yes.
Broly is terrifying because you don't know what the fuck he's going to do, especially because we kind of have some preconceived notions of what Broly is. But what they fucking do with Broly here, you're like, oh shit, he's like 10 times more powerful. And you actually get to see visually that berserking and him like losing his mind, and like the way that they shoot it and like they flip his head around. I mean, it is scary. And Frieza then is fucking menacing. Like, you see him in Resurrection F, he ain't that bad.
No.
You see old Frieza and King Cole coming out, and he's like, you think I'm bad? That little shit there, murder all of you.
Yeah.
So it's great. You get to see King Cole being great. And then little Frieza, I'm like, dude, that dude is a demented motherfucker from birth. Like, and he's more menacing there than he is later on, because I think he's been beat, but then he hasn't.
No, like that at that point, he's still like, I'm stronger than all these people. Like, I don't even have to train to beat anybody up, and he already has a hatred for the Saiyans.
Oh yeah,
already. So
definitely, and he thinks his dad's a pushover. Also, he thinks he's too easy. He's like, yeah, he's my dad. He's a little bitch though. He's like, I'd kill all you bitches, like in a heartbeat. Right. And he does.
And I think it didn't really touch on it, but I think King Vegeta may have at least had a modicum of a respect for King Cold.
Yeah, they had a mutual like, hey, yeah, I'm gonna come down here and yeah, I'm gonna force you guys to do something, but I'm not gonna kill you. Yeah. I know you're powerful. We have our own empires, and that's Frieza's downfall though, is he has no inkling of like respect for any motherfucker. I mean, he does. I think he does for Goku.
Yes,
he's like the only dude because Goku's kicked his ass multiple times now. So he'll still fuck around, but he's afraid of Goku and Vegeta.
Which is so sort of what we got in moments in the Resurrection F.
Yeah.
When like just sort of see Goku and Frieza sort of like smile at each other, sort of have a little laugh, like them that they're sort of becoming buddies, but not really.
They're the same. They just have different goals.
Yes.
Like that's really their thing. It's like Goku wants to get stronger. Frieza wants to get stronger. Frieza's ultimate goal is just to like annihilate shit and enslave the universe. Where Goku's like, I just want to get stronger, man.
Yeah.
So
like, the difference between Frieza and Vegeta, Frieza can actually get power to surpass Goku.
Vegeta. Poor Vegeta.
Yeah, the Vegeta can only get that power if someone bitch slaps Bulma.
Hey man, I will say he does get it in the manga currently for a little bit, and then they take the shit away. He gets Ultra Ego, and you're like, yeah, this is cool. And then they take it right away, and then you're like, oh nope, here's a new form of Ultra Instinct. Goku is more powerful than you.
Yeah.
Like,
and then then we sort of go through the whole this Broly is going to be potentially stronger than Prince Vegeta,
and there's no whining.
No,
that motherfucker ain't angry because Goku was crying.
No, well, which that we find out because Goku is picked to be such a low class Saiyan that they are keeping that guy in a child rearing container at home.
Yep.
He doesn't even get to be with all the other Saiyans.
It is cool because, like I said, like. You know, like, that's why I wanted you to watch this because I know you liked the Broly movie, but I'm like, man, everything they do in this is like 10 times better because it's like they set the stage for that stuff, but this is a full-on backstory to Broly, and it's not just because Goku was angry and crying, the thing. I mean, you get Gine, you get Bardock, you get to see that stuff, so it's like seeing that, and you get to see Broly, like, it makes it so much better, like. But you ultimately see why they would eventually become friends, like, and be there. Like, all three of them, too. Like, they're the only ones left. Yeah. So, like...
Yeah, because Broly and Goku are they're very much two sides of the same coin. Just it was almost a matter of nature versus nurture.
Yeah. His parents cared about... I mean, he's Superman.
Yeah.
In this is, like, the most parallel to Superman you get, because you're just like, all right, there's your parents. They're sending you off, you know, from Krypton to Earth, like.
Yes, so King of Vegeta not willing to accept that anyone's going to be stronger than Prince Vegeta, sends Broly away to this planetoid Vampa. Yeah, and upon hearing that, like as he's speaking to Paragus. Broly's father, that Paragus like, fuck you, and runs and hijacks a space shuttle.
Which even in that, man, there is good storytelling just in him taking the ship and going to the planet. Because there's another dude there, he doesn't know how to fly the ship, so he's got to hijack the ship to get that guy to take him, and then even that guy is a character. Small roles. I mean, like I said, man, this is so much better storytelling.
So something I did have a problem with. The pod must fly at an normal speed because the spaceship leaves not long after that pod.
Yeah.
Yet the pod arrives at Vampa 2 days prior to Paragus.
Yeah.
I'm like, how fucking fast was that pod flying?
I don't know. I always assumed they were pretty fast just because of when and I feel like that's why they used them. Like, even in, the original Namek saga, they travel in those over ships. So I'm assuming maybe just because they're really contained, they can just, shoot them off.
Which I would have figured that Beats and Paragus would have been flying that ship as fast as it would go.
Yeah. So, I mean, maybe it's got shitty ships.
Right.
Yeah.
So, eventually, the Paragus gets there, finds Broly. Yeah, but their ship's busted.
Yep.
There's no escape. And Beats and Paragus like, well, there's really only enough food for a short amount of time. And Paragus just
caps that motherfucker. Yeah. Great.
Yeah.
Like,
fuck you.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, the storytelling, like, even though it's minute, it's like, Paragus, like, he shoots him, and you're like, okay, you see his really true motivation in, like, doing these things, that he's willing to do whatever. I know it's a small moment, but, like, he's willing to do whatever the fuck it takes. So him treating Broly that way is not that far-fetched.
Yeah. Because
you're like, dude, he just shot that dude over some food, which obviously, okay, that's survival. But he clearly don't give a shit about his son.
No.
He just thought his son was going to get killed, so he wanted to protect him only because he knows he's super powerful.
Yes, because he's going to train Broly to be his vengeance against King Vegeta.
And I think even more so, like visually, what they do with this one in comparison to the first one is it's a headband in the first one.
Yeah,
he's got the little headband.
Yeah, like it's like a headband and the necklace.
Yeah, this one it's a fucking collar. Yeah. So they're literally alluding that he is just a dog. Yeah. Like, which is like, that's what I'm saying. Like, visually, like, they put a lot. I mean, it's a little heavy-handed, but I mean, Dragon Ball doesn't do that. So it's not like a fucking A24 horror movie where they're like throwing shit at you and be like, you need to think this way. Yeah. It's like, visually, you see it. So even when, like, Chile sees that, she's like, you're treating him like a fucking animal. He's just got a fucking shock collar around his neck. And you're just like, threatening him. Like, he doesn't do anything, man. It's so menacing because sometimes he doesn't do anything. He just pulls that shit out of his satchel and like picks it up and you're like, fuck, man. That's where you feel bad for Broly. Yeah. Because before, in the first movie, you kind of see it, but Broly's he's still thinking on his own. He's still doing that thing, but you don't feel the same way. You don't get that dynamic between your dad. You almost feel like he enjoys going off and blowing all this shit up. So yeah, his dad has to control him, but you feel like, oh, they have this mutual thing where it's like, yeah, I'm going to go berserk and blow this shit up, but I because he doesn't shut the fuck up in the first movie. Right. So you feel like he enjoys it. So I'm like, you don't feel bad for him. But this, you feel bad for him.
Yeah, see, and then I sort of like it that it almost feels like about a year or a couple years later after Broly's already been sent away that Goku's been born. Yeah. Like, because it does feel that there's been significant time. But
oh yeah, Broly's definitely older. Yeah. Like, and you can kind of tell that even when he meets him, you can tell that he is definitely older than.
And
Goku.
So like, Bardock's coming back to Planet Vegeta because all the Saiyans have been called back to the planet because Frieza, our Lord and Savior, has an announcement.
An announcement. I'm gonna blow all you motherfuckers up.
And there's nothing you all can do.
That's some dark shit, isn't it, man? They're just like, hey, I need everybody to come back. He's making sure that he fucking kills all of them.
And but Bardock's the only one that suspects something may be wrong. And
yeah.
He doesn't know that something's wrong. He just has a feeling.
Oh, one thing I do want to bring up because I just thought about it. We were talking about Saiyans and stuff, but we didn't mention this in the last one. In Resurrection F, Jocko, literally his one job is to fucking prevent Saiyans from coming to Earth, and he's like, "There's how many here? Shit, 2 of them. Fuck. Yeah. Don't tell nobody about that." So it's pretty great that like
and he also mentioned them when he first meets Bulma about the Trunks having come back from the future. He's like. But time traveling and time control is a big crime. And then when Whis does it, Bulma's like, so are you going to arrest Whis?
He's like, I didn't see anything. Yeah, so Jocko becomes a great character, man. He's great in this movie. Chile's great in this movie.
And she is down cataclysmic for Broly.
Oh, yeah. There's a tiny bit of fan service in this movie, just a little bit, but... So yeah, we get that part. Yeah. That part is awesome. I like this flashback is so well done. Like I can't picture this movie without it. It just does so much. I know some people are like, oh, it's not. I'm like, no, we needed that shit. And I think sometimes this gets lumped in. And I think that's why some people put the other movies above it because they're like, oh, I'm like, but in Battle of Gods and in Resurrection F, the whole beginning of those movies is boring as fuck and not that great. So I will argue a motherfucker that shit was unneeded. This is the best opening. Like, you need this to get to Broly. So this does more for the universe. I mean, yes, they introduced Beerus and Whis, but they're goofy. Yeah. This movie is not goofy. It has moments, but is way more serious than Dragon Ball typically is. Even Goku is not. Goku's pretty serious in this movie. I mean, he's bouncing around sometimes, but.
So then I have written down that I love Whis. I'm gonna say this is probably around the time that the Goku and Vegeta were sparring on that deserted island.
Yeah.
Don't remember exactly what Whis said or did, but I know it revolves around food.
Yeah, dude, he gets better, man. I'm telling you, he's like fine wine, man. The more you see Whis, the better he gets. Beerus is like boxed wine, okay? Yeah. He's like boxed wine, but you drink enough of it, eventually you like it. Because Beerus is still one of my favorite characters, but he doesn't start out strong. He gets better, but you drink it enough, you get used to him, and then he grows. Yeah. But Whis just better. Every time you see him, you're like, you're still great.
Yes,
I still love you.
Right. Then we see that Bulma's been gathering Dragon Balls.
Of course.
Right.
Where's Goten at? Trunks. They ain't been doing shit. They're not doing their jobs. Literally, I think that Toriyama's like, this is in the manual. Like, Goten and Trunks only gather Dragon Balls.
Yes, that is the whole purpose that you two had the children. Yeah, and specifically those two children.
We put that in. That's what they said. Like, Goku and Chi-Chi, they don't talk about doing nothing. But they're doing that just so Bulma can have somebody to go off. Because she's like, well, we're going to have Trunks. We already know that, clearly. If you have a kid, we'll put them together. We don't have to parent. No. We can go to book club together. And those motherfuckers can just go get the Dragon Balls. So that way I can get 5 years longer a lot. Right. So...
And so some of Frieza's crew steals the Dragon Balls, and that this is where we actually learn that Bulma keeps, and that's an important thing, keeps getting the Dragon Balls.
Yeah.
To look younger.
Yep. She's still doing it.
Yes. And Vegeta stole the Dragon Balls to be just a little bit taller. Then where we get Vegeta just calling Goku an idiot just constantly somewhere in this the time span.
Well, it's a great scene because they're in the ship, they're in the capsule ship, and they're going, and they like got all their gear to go because this is when they go off later. But like, and Bulma's just like shouting at them. It's great.
Goku says something stupid. He's like, "Shut up, you idiot!"
Yeah.
It's like, why are you calling me an idiot? Because you're an idiot. How many times are you going to call me an idiot? As many times as you're an idiot.
Yeah, it's great. Vegeta's great. Everybody is great in this movie. Yes. So like, I do like speaking about like that flashback. I do like that, man. Bardock being the only one up there, just with the fucking Kamehameha. You're like, all right, there's that Kamehameha, so you see the lineage there.
Which should just be a blast because Roshi.
He doesn't know it, but we're just gonna, Toriyama does whatever the fuck he wants. Right. So like, that's why I say I should learn not to nitpick that man a lot. Yeah. He's like 85. He don't fucking remember that shit was a blast, and he don't give a shit. He's like, well, I created the shit, so I can do whatever the fuck I want.
So around this time's when Chile finds Broly, and she is instantly just down bad, down cataclysmic for Broly.
Well, and so we should put in context. The reason why they're out is because they're looking for Frieza Force members.
Yes,
so they're out.
Stronger fighters.
They're scouring for Frieza to get more members. So that's how they come across.
Yeah, them and
Broly.
And they got Progress's distress signal.
Fucking who knows how long.
Right.
And Broly's like 35.
Right. So eventually, that we find out that Broly has this collar around his neck, and Prague is like, well, it sends a mild current of electricity, so that I can help keep him under control.
Yeah.
And then Broly almost kills a guy for speaking inappropriately to Chile. And mild current my ass.
Yeah. I do like when they're flying though. He gives him food, and he's like explaining food, and he's like, what is this? He's like, food.
Yeah, it's like, and he takes it. It's like, say thank you, Broly. Say thank you, Broly.
Yeah.
He's like, thanks.
Yeah, and he just eats that motherfucker. He just keeps eating. You're like, damn, man. Motherfucker's been eating like bugs and shit, and
Yes.
you're giving him some food. That motherfucker's huge, and he's been eating bugs. Wait till he eats like Goku. Like, so they do that, and then you get it, and then I do like you get like the interactions with him on the ship, and then I think Chile then begins to kind of figure out that like this is not a great relationship. Like he is clearly controlling Broly, which is not good. And then obviously Frieza finds out about him, and he's like, "Great, fine, I can use this to my advantage,"
and he does.
Man, the end of this movie, like the last 20 fucking minutes of this movie, is like peak fucking Dragon Ball. Like from Frieza being great to Broly being great, all that fighting is the best Dragon Ball has ever been. Oh man,
yeah, because then you get Goku and the Vegeta going God, they're fighting Broly, and Broly's in his regular form, just holding with them.
Yeah, and I do like also about this movie, which I like when movies do this, and this is a very like small thing that I don't know most people like give a shit about, but I like when I even like it in like TV shows when stuff's animated, and then like say like Bob's Burgers. I like Bob's Burgers, and so sometimes when the kids have different clothes on, because I get why they don't do it because it's animated.
Yeah.
But I like in this stuff when they have different clothes on. So seeing they're like, hey, we're gonna go to this frozen place, which is a different locale, obviously, and I like that also. So even some of the bad Dragon Ball movies, you're like, well, at least we're in a different place.
Yeah.
So I like that they have the different clothes on.
And but Bulma did mention, since we're going to the frozen continent, we'll have to stop along the way and buy some clothes.
Yeah, and it's great because Goku's like, why? Like, so it's great that they just didn't go because they clearly, even though they're saying they cannot be on there. Now, once they're fighting, obviously, they're going to warm up. But I do like, I am depressed that there are no statues of them in those clothes, though, because that would have been great. Yes. And then it always reminds me, like them when they get to that planet, it reminds me of the teaser. I don't know if you ever saw the teasers of this before it came out, but it was just the frozen planet. And it was just Goku like doing his little stretches, but it was like, people were like, oh shit, that's when people found out it was going to be 2D animated and it was going to be hand drawn and shit. And you're like, this looks fucking incredible. So I always, anytime they get there, I'm just like remembering back and like, I mean, I'm hyped for this next movie, but I don't think I've ever been as excited for a Dragon Ball thing as I was for Broly.
So eventually, during the fights with Goku and the Vegeta, we get told by Paragus that Broly has figured out how to have the Great Ape power in his base form. What the fuck?
Yes. So this is one thing I knew we were going to get here, so I wanted to like dive into this. So I think it is the best explanation of why Broly is the way he is. Yes. It's awesome because he doesn't have a tail.
No.
Like, so you're just like, okay, so how does he do this? And so you're like, so that is a cool way of being like, this is why he goes mad, because the same thing happens to them in ape form. So you're like, and he can't control it. Yeah. So he basically has the power of an ape and then just loses his mind. And then he obviously, because he has so much power anyway, he can't control it.
Yeah.
One thing I do want to get to before we get to this fighting for this last part is when Chile does actually sit down and talk to Broly, he kind of like elaborates on his backstory. And he's like, yeah, I trained and I had a friend. Yes. And then my dad fucking murdered him also. And that's why he wears the fucking pelt.
He didn't even murder
Oh, no,
him.
he shoots his thing off.
He just shot his ear off.
Ear off so he would not befriend Broly anymore. He's like, that's a fucking distraction, bitch. Okay, let's get over here and fight. He's like, what the fuck do I have to do, Dad? I'm already more powerful than everyone in my base form. What the fuck I got to do? So yeah, he wears that. So it's just, I mean, it's one of those nice things. Like, I think also it adds color to Broly's outfit. I mean, I do like the green. I mean, he does go berserk and he does go green. Yes. So incorporating that in, like I said, I love the look of Broly. In his base form, it's better. He's not that skinny little bitch.
But please, for the love of God, Broly, wash the fur.
Oh yeah, he hasn't washed that fur. You know, I mean, the man's never even have food. Maybe now. Maybe in the next movie we'll get him.
I'm sure by some point. Once Chile got him out of his armor, and
she snuck it. He was asleep, and she's like, "I'm gonna wash this shit because it smells like asshole." And I'm sure they had a whole fight about it. He's like, "I'm just kidding. Okay, bro, I got the collar." Yeah. She pulls it out. Maybe he's into the collar now. Maybe it's like a sex thing now. He's like, they didn't like it. She's like, "No, we'll keep it. we'll keep the fur and the dog collar."
Yeah, and it's so the part of all the fights I found funny was that Frieza keeps asking Paragus if Broly has more power, and Paragus like, no, he's at his limit, and man. Broly keeps on going, and Frieza's like, huh,
yeah,
how can I make this just a little bit more powerful?
And it's great. The thing is, like, you like at this point again. So we've been to the whole anime now. So this is different than these other movies. Yeah. So Frieza has a awesome moment in the Tournament of Power. Yes. Like the motherfucker wins. Yes. Like, and he helps 17 win. But still, you're like, so you finally they've gotten you back on Frieza's side where you're like, yeah, he's a dick, but at the end of the day, he is going to do the right thing. Yes. Like, he will save them. So this just puts him back in being like, well, shit, now he's a dick again. Yeah, he came back to life for real.
Yeah.
And he's like, fuck all you.
And then he has his flashback to how Goku became a Super Saiyan.
Yeah.
He blows up Krillin. So he's like, I am going to kill Paragus.
Yeah.
And does it. And then he's like, oh, Broly, look at what happened to your father.
Yeah. Yeah. Fucking great. Another thing, we can talk about the fight too, but one of the greatest things in this fight is when they're all fighting and Goku and Vegeta are going to fuse and they've got to take some time and they fucking Broly pummels the shit out of Frieza.
For at least an hour.
An hour because they fuck it up the first time.
That they fuck twice.
Yeah, so it is great because you see him and Broly's coming at him. He's like, fuck. And he gets his ass kicked. So that's the only good thing is like, and Paragus is a dick anyway. Yes, so like him getting killed is not the problem, and it is a great thing for Frieza to do because they're the same person. Right. They're willing to do whatever it takes to gain power. So it is great that Frieza just fucking is like, I'm gonna kill your ass. I mean, I know it's gonna make him more powerful. You're also kind of an asshole. So just like, I think there's somewhere in there Frieza knows he's kind of a dick. So like, it's twofold for him. He's gonna kill him because it's an advantage for him. But deep down, you know he's killing him because, he's treating Broly like shit. Yeah. So, like, he wants to be able to control Broly. So, he's like, well, I'll take you out of the way. I'm not going to put a collar on him, but at least maybe I can utilize him. But, yeah, that is the greatest moment, man. Like,
yeah, and I want to point out that at least Super Saiyan, if not Super Saiyan 2 Broly, is just kicking the Goku Blue and the Vegeta Blue's ass at the same time.
At the same time, and so like I said,
and that's how we get to them needing to fuse.
Yeah, and again, we talked about God. I do like. See, this is my thing. I'm like that they went God, like because it was one of those things that like they didn't do it in the last one. I think people complained. So they're like, okay, yeah, we do it, and you get to see Vegeta do it, which is great, you know. His aesthetic looks cool with that like reddish hair. You don't get to see him because it's all spiky, so it's different than Goku. But yeah, the fusing's great. Piccolo's yelling at him.
I liked how Goku like convinced Vegeta to fuse. Aren't you going to be upset if anything happens to your dear sweet Bulma?
Yeah,
and he's like. And then you see Vegeta blush, and he's like,
"Yeah,
don't you ever embarrass me like that."
Yeah, it is great. Like that's the thing. So I think this too is like the last movie. You kind of see the last remnants of like the Goku Vegeta bullshit relationship. Where you're like, yeah, they hate each other, but it's so tired. Yeah. You're just like, I think watching Resurrection, you're just like, ugh. But now having been through the whole anime. They're at the point now where they don't do that shit anymore. They don't bicker. I mean, they bicker a little bit, but they have a different respect for each other now. Yeah. Like Vegeta does not hate Goku anymore. No. He's not trying to kill him anymore.
Yeah, it's like when they bicker, they're just an old married couple.
Yeah, they're the grumpy old men. It's like we talked about before. That is them now, which is great though. But I mean, it gets it out of the way because Vegeta, I think, also knows that Goku is more powerful, especially now.
Yes.
Like that, he's like, well, fuck, I got nothing.
Yeah.
That motherfucker went Ultra Instinct, and they even talk about it in this when they're training in the beginning. He's like, you can't tap into that. He's like, nah, I can't do it.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, but that sets the stage too in the very beginning of this movie when they're training with Whis to be like, you ain't seeing that shit. We didn't do it. Like, which was fine for me.
Yes.
I don't think I needed to see it because you're just like, the fight's over then.
Yeah.
If Goku goes Ultra Instinct, yeah, he's gonna kick the shit out of Broly. Like,
exactly.
So like, but it is good. I like that form also, as much as I like that form, I like that it is something that he can't do all the time because you can't waste it. Plus, that form is so great. Like the way that it is, the music for fucking Ultra Instinct is incredible. So when you see it, you're like, all right, everybody's fucked.
Yeah, and so then eventually, Goku and Vegeta fuse. So they spend a good couple of minutes trying to decide on a name.
Yeah,
come up with Gogeta because with their Patara fusions they were
Vegito.
So they're like, oh well, I guess I'll be Gogeta.
Yeah,
and Piccolo's just like, whatever, just fucking go.
Yeah, just go. Piccolo's still great at this.
Yes.
I mean, he's like, guys, come on, shut the fuck up. We got shit to do. Like, yes, man, Gogeta is fucking awesome.
Yeah. And
Gogeta Blue is cool. Like,
yes. and Broly goes even further into that. I think that possible Super Saiyan 2.
Yeah,
Broly, and even that is holding his own against Gogeta Blue.
Yeah, I mean, but it's like, man, like, just visually, I know some people don't like it, but man, when he like which he does do it in the original one where he's like pulling the green and like kind of you see this space tear, and this like fucking just breaks reality when he's punching shit, and you're like, holy fuck, like, but you still do get that cool, which I think after doing like KO and Caulifla, they kind of were setting the stage for this because you're like, okay, we did that, people liked that, we can bring Broly back now. Like, so yeah, this whole fight is just awesome. Like, it's just awesome. I don't know. Again, if you for some reason haven't watched this movie, why are you here? Stop listening to us. Go watch that fucking movie. Like,
and then
come back. Like I said, with the Dragon Ball movies, I don't think there's anything you can ruin. I mean, we can't spoil anything for you. I mean, unless you don't know that Gogeta's in it. I mean, I will say Resurrection F, if you don't know that they go blue, it's not on the cover. No. And they don't like give it away that he goes blue. So if you had no idea about Dragon Ball and you just watched the movie, you wouldn't know that. Same with this one. You don't know that Gogeta's in the movie. Like, it's not in the box or anything like that. So I do think at least they do hide that a little bit. And like, this movie was a big surprise because before it came out, none of that shit was out. Another thing, you didn't know what Broly, and I mean, that was the task. Like, bringing Frieza back was one thing. People were like, we kind of know Frieza. Bringing Broly back was a fucking like monumental task. And they knock it out of the park. And I still think that's why, for me, this is like the best Dragon Ball movie. Because even Battle of Gods, yes, you gave Beerus and Whis, but you didn't have to do much. There's no heavy lifting. You just brought everybody back. So yes, that was a task in its own, but everybody already likes Goku and Vegeta, like, and they like the whole cast. There's not much to do. You just need to get it semi-right. Frieza, again, everybody likes Frieza, so if you do a halfway decent job, you're good. Broly is a whole nother story. So now you've had a whole anime. You got to bring this motherfucker back and still continue the anime from the end of the Tournament of Power, which is awesome. So you have to go from Ultra Instinct to be like, okay, well, now we got to take this away, bring back a character, give him an arc and flashback, and do all this. This movie had a lot to accomplish, and I think it does all of it very well.
So in the final moments of the Gogeta Broly fight, but right before Gogeta just kills Broly, Chile uses the Dragon Balls to wish Broly back to the planet he came from. I do have a problem with that because technically the planet he came from
would be
the planet of Vegeta, but
it doesn't exist.
Exactly. So Shinron sends him to the planetoid Vampa. And
it would have been great if he had just ended up in space, which I mean, I think he technically can breathe because they are up in space, so I think they can breathe.
And so that basically from the moment that happens, so Chile, and I always forget the other alien's name. That they jump in a spaceship and haul ass to Vampa.
Yeah. It's good though. I mean, like I said, it's one of those things where it gives you a good arc. It resets the characters. It gives us a good direction. We've had good stuff before, and then it sets up where we're going. Yeah. So, like at the end, Goku comes. He ends the transmission. He's like, "Hey, bro's like, fuck." And even Chile thinks he's coming there to fight. He's not. No. He's like, "Hey, you want to train?" Like,
it's like, no, like I want him to myself.
Yeah.
You get away.
Yeah, get away. So it sets up that great moment where you're like, I mean, like I said, at the end of Resurrection, and this is what I always say about movies. I mean, people haven't heard me talk about, but obviously I run another movie channel. In movies, the best thing you can do is have a satisfying movie, but the one thing you have to get right is the ending. Yes. You have to get how the person leaves the theater, because it doesn't matter if the movie is mediocre. Yeah. If the ending is great, they won't remember all that shit. Now, a year from now, they'll nitpick it to death and whatever. That's why every Marvel movie is amazing, because they're like, oh, they got the ending right, so it's clearly amazing. But then they go back and then you're like, maybe it wasn't so amazing. This movie has a great ending. Yes. So regardless, I mean, the whole movie is great, but it makes it even better for me, because Battle of Gods has a little bit of that where you like get the sense that it's going to go somewhere. Resurrection has nothing there for me. Like at the end, I'm just like, okay, if you didn't see any more, fine. Yeah. If you did, great. This leaves you with like, okay, I just watched like an hour and a half, 45 minutes of awesome. And now I know that Goku and Goku and Broly are now going to train and possibly fight again. I'm into that. I want to see that shit, especially because we have no anime after. There's nothing after this. So we're just left now on this cliffhanger being like, what the fuck now? So now I think that's why people want the anime back so much, is that they left us. They left us hanging, and we still have had nothing. So do you have any negatives? I mean, like I said, I have a few nitpicks, but again, I think watching it so many times, they're so minuscule that I don't think that they're like, nothing just distracts from this movie. I don't think there's anything that I'm like, that ruined the movie for me.
Yeah, I mean, really, it really would just be sort of all those small little like nitpicky things, like Bardock being the only person to suspect something's wrong.
And I mean, like I said, they have some conveniences where you're like I said, those are nitpicks, but I mean, they got to get there somehow. Yeah. So like, and that's what I'm saying. I think some people are like harsh on this movie for that, and I'm just like, what the fuck is the option?
Right. Like, but that gave Bardock a reason to send Goku away.
Yeah, because that's what I'm saying. Like my thing always, not just in this, but even at our job, is like, all right, you got a problem. What's the solution then? So you got a problem with this shit. Then what's your solution in doing it? Because unless you bring me something that's better than that, then stop fucking bitching about it. Because at the end of the day, it's one moment in a thing that really doesn't matter. Yeah. Goku already came. It was a way to give Bardock a moment, because he doesn't get one. Bardock's his dad, but other than all the extra shit on the outlier of Dragon Ball that is not canon, we really haven't seen anything for Bardock. Mm-hmm. So it's one of those things. It's like, yeah, okay, that's the only thing, is that yes, he suspected him, but I don't know how to do it. Yeah. Why would he send Goku away? Like, I get that it may not be the way you wanted him to do it, but I don't know what other way you do it in the context of this movie, in the context of the story that they're telling and that they've already told. I think some people forget that, like, they're retconning some of this shit. So if you do too much, people would bitch. They're like, oh, well, that didn't happen. Actually, like, shut the fuck up. Like, this is where I get, like, angry. I'm just like, yeah, you're nitpicking it to death, but it's like, what the fuck else are you going to do? Would you rather it not be there? Because that's the answer. Yeah. They did it, or they take it out.
Right, because in that moment, let's say you can sort of nitpick it away, because Bardock already knows that Frieza hates the Saiyans.
Yeah, and I mean, it doesn't. It's not like it doesn't make so much sense, because you're like, why the fuck am I coming back?
Exactly.
And why is Frieza calling us back? Yeah. So him being like, something's going on.
He's like, well, no, why is Frieza calling every single Saiyan saying back, why is it Frieza and not someone else that's under him? It's like,
that's what I'm saying. I mean, I would probably think something was wrong. Right? So like that's where like when people are like, well, no, like no, I mean he made a rash decision, like and he could have gone the other way and not sent him.
And then
there would be no Dragon Ball. Yeah, like but anyway, also like Bardock is not Goku. No. Bardock is smart.
Yes.
He's a fucking military, I mean, he's a soldier. He is not Goku. Goku's an idiot. So Goku, I think people put a lot of Goku into Bardock, and so they're like, well, Goku would. Yeah. He's not fucking Goku.
No, you should put more of Gohan into Bardock.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, Gohan came from somewhere. Yeah. So there's a little bit, but it's also Goku's upbringing was way different. Bardock was raised as a soldier and went on like that, so he would be a little smart. Goku was raised by fucking Master Roshi, fucking just fighting people all the damn time. He didn't go to school. He didn't do anything. He's hanging out with Bulma, like, I mean, in a fucking pig. That's what he was doing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so, yes, he's not the brightest person, but, like, that's why. Like, so, okay, do you have any, anything else?
Yeah, and like I said, really aside from just those small little things that just about anyone can sort of nitpick away. Yeah, I don't really think I have anything else.
Okay. Well, I am glad you liked it. I was worried for some moment. I was like, what if he gets on here? And he's like, I hated it. I was like, I don't know if we can do this podcast anymore. Podcast would be over because I'm just like, it's like that's what I say. Sometimes I've talked to a few people that don't like this movie, and I'm like, one, I don't know that we can like be friends. Because if you like Dragon Ball, it's weird to me if you don't like this movie. Because I'm like, do you really like Dragon Ball? Because this is everything that you would want out of Dragon Ball. So I'm like, if you don't like this movie, then I don't think you like Dragon Ball. You may say that you like Dragon Ball, but I don't think you really do.
Well, see, and I think it also helps because I watch a lot of Dragon Ball Fighter Z.
Yeah.
The videos and sometimes seeing the Dragon Ball Super Broly in there, like they're doing all those moves, and then seeing where they came from, also helps.
Yeah, I mean it's cool. Like I said, you know, I love this movie. I mean, we'll obviously do our tier. I mean, it's not gonna be that fucking hard. If you like, it is strange that we're like this many movies in, and it's my favorite one after all these things, which is usually not how this goes. But
yes, in a classic like horror sense, that this should be one of the worst ones.
Yeah,
but it's not.
That's rare cases. I know. Like it's funny how like even doing this anime stuff does parallel to like all the horror stuff I do because I'm like, man, these do parallel each other because I'm like, I'm watching movies that start out great and then they get worse and worse and worse and then somehow wrap around and there's like a Halloween 2018 that comes up where you're like, it's not the most amazing thing, but it's set shit on track. And then you have a Halloween Kills where you're like, and that's your Resurrection F. And then you get Halloween Ends and you're like, this could go either way. This could be a Super Broly or this could be fucking Bio Broly. Those are my two areas that I'm waiting. So I don't know. Like I said, I love this movie. I'm looking forward to hopefully the anime comes back. I'm looking forward to Superhero next week. So I mean, we made it. We did it.
It's about time.
Almost 2 months later, we have made it through all of these movies. And I'm excited to see what we do in the future. Obviously, at some point, we might go back to the Dragon Ball movies. Eventually. Yes. That shit might be next year, or that shit might be some Patreon shit, because I don't know if I even want to do it. Like,
who knows?
I don't know. If you ever want to see Dragon Ball GT shit, that is definitely somebody's gonna have to pay me to watch that shit because I don't know that I ever can.
And it will be a lot of money to make me watch it.
If you want us to watch a GT movie, that's going to be the highest tier. Then you can pick it out. Yes. Then we'll watch the GT movie.
And I can't guarantee that I will watch it willingly.
Yeah, that like I said, that's a pay to watch. Even that series, like, I'll make a shit run. But so the next few things coming up, I guess, if you made it this far and you're listening, I mean,
then you should know.
You should know what's coming next. I mean, obviously, we're going to review superhero. Maybe not in the next couple. At some point within this month, we're gonna do a tier list of these movies. And then I think we'll probably also do a tier list of the villains because I mean we've talked about all these things, but that's why we kind of stopped doing it in the middle because we're like, wait, there's way too many fucking of these movies to even remotely keep track of what we're doing, and then the villains just adjust the whole time. So I think it's easier to like look at them in context, and then choose from there. And especially now having seen all the movies, and after we do want to watch superheroes, so we can put that in, but also have a couple weeks to think about it and not just rashly be like, this is the greatest movie ever made. Like I said, I've already seen the movie, so for me, this is going to be like I'm anxious to see it on the big screen and see it, understand what the fuck they're saying because I just watched the movie with no context. So I liked what I saw then, so I'm assuming I'm going to like the movie. But story-wise, I have no idea like what actually happens. But so that's all coming.
Then, as we've mentioned the last couple of videos, Demon Slayer is on its way.
Yep.
And we're looking at doing the One Piece movies with the One Piece Red coming out at some point in the fall.
Yeah. So the way that, I mean, we're going to break that down a little bit. We may do like a channel update soon. It will not be like this.
No.
We're not watching all of them fucking back to back to back to back.
No.
So there will be a One Piece movie a month.
Yes, because the One Piece movies are actual movie length.
Yeah, and two, I mean, like, I don't want to get burnt out on One Piece, and we do want to start to cover other things. I know we've just been doing Dragon Ball, but it was a way for us to, like, we knew something we both liked, and we could, like, get into it and ease into it. Plus, with Dragon Ball Super came out, it gave us a goal point. So, if you guys have any recommendations for anything else you'd like to see us cover, put it in the comments. Let us know what you think about this movie.
Yes.
Do you like it? Kind of where does it sit for you?
And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share.
And then, as always, if you really like what we do and you've made it this far, you obviously probably do. So consider joining our Patreon. We have a lot more stuff. Monthly Q&A. You can recommend us stuff for us to watch. We'll review it for you and put it on Patreon. At the highest tier, if you want us to watch a TT movie,
damn you.
We hate you. But if you hate us as well, that is a punishment. If you like, fuck these guys, I'm going to give them $100 just so they have to watch this shit. I mean, I'll do it. Like,
right.
But other than that, I mean, I think that's all I got. I think I'm glad we ended on a high note, and I'm glad this shit's over.
Yes.
Like, I don't know if I can ever do a series like this back to back. Even on my other channel, it makes me worry how I'm going to do all these franchises that have like the Hellraiser franchise with like 10 entries. That shit ain't all happening at once. It's going to be like 2 years before I review them all. As always, that's all I've got today.
That's all I've got.
All right. Peace.